Hello, my name is Gana So, and I'm going to be talking about inclusive learning environment challenges and strategies. So I am a French language teacher and I reside in India. I'm from Senegal. I've been working here for the past decade. So to talk about creating an inclusive learning environment, inclusivity for me, it is a culture. It is a culture that is developed by all the stakeholder that are involved in the learning environment, students, management, teachers, and even the helpers all around. It is a place where students feel safe, seen, heard, and valued in order to be able to evolve in that environment. So nowadays, diversity is present in the classroom. It is not an exception anymore, but it's a norm. For example, if you're in an environment where it's international school, for example, so a lot of students are coming from diverse background and they bring a lot of luggage in the classroom that needs to be acknowledged, understood, and used appropriately. So to talk about the key challenges that we face, there is a diverse learner profile, as I just introduced, talking about the languages, the abilities, student with the bright ones maybe, or the slow learners, or those who are more auditive, etc., and so on. Their backgrounds, the family backgrounds, the beliefs, the education that they have received at home as well. We also talk about the unconscious bias. For example, when teachers, because of our own background, have a certain way of seeing a student because of the way they behave, and that can lead to not really being inclusive and not giving the student the opportunity to feel seen and valued as they are supposed to be done. And we limited time and resources could be a challenge as well, because when once a student or a teacher understand the need of the student, but or sometimes we are not able to really gauge what the student what is needed by the student to be in order to evolve in that learning environment. And sometimes also that lack of time doesn't allow us to plan enough activities that will allow us to teach the student and lead them to wherever we need them to be. And there is also a lot of resistance to challenge when you want to bring something new, or when a child coming with certain backgrounds, and people would prefer not to really have to deal with them rather than really trying to understand them and be able to help them. So these are a few challenges that I face. I'm going to skip it quickly because the time is a challenge. Strategies that I will be suggesting is, first of all, building a strong relationship with the students, within the community, amongst the student, amongst the teachers, and all the stakeholders, the parents as well. So, for example, learning, just the simple fact of learning, knowing every single child's name that are in my class, first of all, it would encourage them to be more open, to feel seen, to be involved in the classroom also. That will allow us also to encourage an open communication within the classroom, give them a different ways of communicating. It could be written, it could be one-on-one, it could be in the classroom, because not everybody will be open to communicate their ideas. Another strategy could be differentiate instructions. But to differentiate instruction, we need to understand our student. How do they learn best? What is better suitable for them? And to do so, it would be really important to sometimes reflect on our teaching strategies, and the simple assessment of learning, or assessment for learning that we are conducting, could help us better understand how or what strategies work the best for the students. Another strategy could be to foster growth mindset. This is a fact. This is a way of encouraging the students to be participative in the classroom, understanding that failure does not really exist in the classroom. It is a place where we learn and where we are allowed to make mistakes. So we emphasize on the efforts and we celebrate the mistake they make as learning opportunities. I always love to tell them that this is not a mistake, it is part of the learning process. And I use also my little bit of Hindi I know to make them understand that nobody is perfect when it comes to a language. So another strategy could be reflect and learn. I was mentioning earlier, reflecting here, what I used to do is involving the student in the process of learning, making understanding how do they learn best after a certain unit or at the end of the semester, to assess or to have a survey that will allow me to understand how best did they learn and what would they expect in the upcoming weeks or the next semester. Participating in workshop and peer observation, the teacher training, our self-training is crucial at this point, because if we do not understand what the students need or what kind of profile we have in the class, it's going to be very difficult to really give them what they need. Another strategy, collaborate and co-create. So I was mentioning earlier how it is important that we as teachers, the teaching community, get to sit together and try to figure out what are the challenges we are facing with, especially for certain students. For example, for instance, in my school, when we have a student who really struggle, we redirect them to the counselor. And after a few sessions with the counselor, we have a general meeting with them that allow us to better understand or develop together different strategies that could work for that particular student. It is also absolutely important to partner with the parents, with the counselors, the support staff, and everybody who could be involved in the teaching, because that learning space environment is the whole community. And in conclusion, I would say that inclusion is an ongoing thing. It is also it is a culture that needs to be built around everybody who's involved in that learning environment. It requires patience, creativity, empathy, and of course, innovation from time to time. It has to be there. An inclusive classroom is not one where everyone is the same, but where everyone belongs. The belongingness is the key word here. There are not two similar students in the classroom. Each one of them have the specificity, the particularities. But if they all feel that belongingness in the classroom, that's when we can talk about inclusive classroom. So let's commit to creating a space where every learner can succeed and feel empowered. Thank you very much for your attention.